How she landed, it's a little bit of a miracle.
Tell me, the first time you laid eyes on Laura.
Oh, that was her.
Because I smoke, I went out to have a smoke on the front porch, and she was laying there on the porch sleeping. And I just went back inside. I didn't say anything to her or introduce myself.
Well, when she first landed on the porch, she needed help. She needed help.
She wasn't making it. I had to either call the police and have her removed, or I could try and find her a better alternative. She didn't have anything. My next door neighbor's son gave me this from his camping. This was Laura's little mat, and I used to leave a plate of food down here and maybe some smokes, and had a comforter that she could unroll, and when she wasn't here she'd roll up her mat and she'd put it in the corner and just leave. She'd come and go as she pleased. I was a stranger. She didn't know me. She sure didn't know Norm. We tried to make her feel a little bit secure and not really interfere too much with our life either.
This was almost like a second home to her, the porch. She was on the streets in this neighborhood, from what we understand, for 10 years.
When I was young, I had had problems, and I had been homeless, and I had been through the shelter system. So I was kind of used to being around people who had mental health challenges, and her vulnerability just made me feel morally responsible, you know.
Initially, I thought you were nuts.
Yeah,
Initially.
Norm didn't even talk to her for the first 3 months that she was there.
And she reminds me about that all the time. But then the more you get talking to her, there's a nice side to her, so there's a charming side to her.
She was off her medication, so it was hard to have conversation with her, because she would sit on my porch and yell at neighbors, people walking their dogs.
I got to give credit to my neighbors, because never once.
Not one neighbor ever complained.
The word got out a little bit that we were looking after this street person. And my next door neighbor is a saint for what she's put up with. We became the porch parents. That was our nickname.
My feeling was that if I brought her in the house, then I might deny her some other services that were available. We can't give the kind of services that she needs. As the weather started to change, I asked her if she would like some help getting some housing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It became a bit of a challenge. She's a challenge. The At Home Project found her a nice little place down the street, and she's been in the same apartment. She's been there 3 years. Coming up to 3 years. He even got her a vote in the last election, but that's another story.
She never stayed out on the porch again. Definitely there's been some progress, because she has not been hospitalized for a couple of years. That's a huge progress. But she's been in this program now for at least 3 years, and she doesn't have a therapist, she doesn't have group, there's no vocational training.
The Mental Health Act says they have the right to be whoever they want to be. Nobody can force anything on her. The bottom line is they've given her a place to live.
And even if that's all they do,
it's still a half a step better than her sleeping on my porch.
Or on the street. We've still taken her out to eat. I took her swimming. She came at Christmas time to give me money for gifts for the kids.
We're just happy to see her. And if she walks into this house...
And she hasn't been beaten up.
And walks out 2 minutes later, we look at each other and go, she's alive. I look at it as we're just helping one person.